everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today for our webinar on Central and Eastern Europe. There are so many great train journeys and great rail holidays to be had in this really interesting corner of Europe, of the world, and just some of the best cities that we can't wait to chat to you about, with some of the most fascinating history and the best food and great rail trips as well. My name is Sarah Turner. I work in the marketing department here at Railbookers, and as you can see on your screen, at the end of the webinar, one person is going to win £50 off their next rail holiday, so stay tuned to the end, and we're very excited to reveal who that will be. And absolutely everybody, as always, is going to be entitled to an exclusive attendee discount as well. You can see our phone number along the bottom of your screen there, 0203 780 2382. Scribble that down somewhere and you can give us a ring anytime after the webinar finishes, and we'll be very happy to chat to you about your holiday by train, whatever you've got planned. So just to start with a little bit about us and why to book with Railbookers, and we hope that you guys know by now, but we are the rail experts. We have got such a great team here in our London office of what we call self-confessed train geeks, and they just have such a great knowledge of all the routes, the timings, the rail systems, both for the holidays that we're going to talk about today, but also, ones all over the world. And what we do is use our insider access. So we've got direct partnerships with the rail companies, hotels across the world that mean that we have access to rates and availability that aren't accessible to the public, that we'll use to make sure you're getting the very best value for your holidays. With us, you will always get complete flexibility, so you can book at any time, even if tickets aren't on sale to the public yet, and you can tailor-make any of the trips that you see on our website, in our brochures that we talk about in these webinars, absolutely anything. Just tell us what you want and we'll be more than happy to look into putting it together for you. And that's exactly what we're trying to do, make your bookings hassle-free. We know it can be complicated with different routes, train times, languages, providers. We want to take all the stress out of it, make sure that all you have to do, turn up and have a great trip. And that's why we're really proud to have won loads of awards as well. We are definitely an award-winning operator. So where do we go? We go all over Europe, all over the USA and Canada, and far beyond that as well. Those are just a couple of our most popular destinations. And you can see on your screen there a couple of the holiday types that we do. So whatever you're looking at for your next trip, whether it's a scenic rail journey, just a quick city break, maybe a luxury private train journey if you've got a special occasion coming up, a big birthday or an anniversary, we can organise trips on the Venice and Orient Express, the Rocky Mountaineer. We love to do these luxury private train journeys for you. You can see rail and sail, lakes and mountains, coast to coast, USA and Canada, a couple of the most popular types of trips that we book. But let us know whatever you want to do and we'll happily put it together. And here are a few of our top destinations. Obviously, we're going to be focusing more today on the Central and Eastern European destinations, but places like Scandinavia, Italy, Switzerland, Spain, Portugal in Europe are always popular. We've got some of the best rail routes and destinations in the world there. USA and Canada is always incredibly popular for people who love traveling by train or who want to really make the most of those long-haul destinations. Here are just a few of our top itineraries, and if you'll indulge me at the end of the presentation, I'd love to chat through just a couple in a bit more detail. You can see the variety of the trips that we can offer you guys, from Ultimate Canada, going right across Canada by rail through the Rocky Mountains, or right across the USA by train, Scandinavia as well if you want to stay a little bit closer to home, or more classic trips like Venice by the Alps, making the most of the amazing train journey through Switzerland, through the amazing Alps there to get to Venice, one of the best cities in the world. We've got the classic Glacier and Bernina Express, those really iconic Swiss journeys. And of course, you can see that in Venice, that's on Orient Express, which is got to be one of the best train journeys in the world. Of course, very famous everywhere for just being an incredibly luxurious journey. If you've got any questions, I'd love to hear them, and I'd love to do my very best to answer them to the best of my ability at the end of the webinar. Just pop them in the question box. It should be to the right of your screen, and I will get around to answering as many as I can. We do get a lot of questions, so if I don't get around to answering yours, please don't worry, because one of our rail experts will be in touch after the webinar to just chat with you and answer any questions that you may have. Okay, on to the first holiday that I get to talk to you guys about today, and it's one of our favourites, starting on a great one. It's the ultimate Berlin, Prague, Vienna and Budapest holiday. So it's obviously 4 of Europe's greatest capitals, and with our ultimate holidays, we include hand-picked tours and sightseeing and extra inclusions for you guys that we think will give you the best experiences in these destinations. At the moment, we have special offers on our ultimate holidays as well, so definitely check those out on our website. And just have a look at the map there, so I'm looking at the route that you'll take and what you get. Obviously, you can see there's a flight back there at the end from Budapest. If you'd like to travel out by train instead, there's a sleeper train that goes back from Vienna, so we could definitely look into that for you instead. If you've never been on a sleeper train, that is a really, really great experience. So the first stop on this holiday is Berlin. You'll travel out on the Eurostar, one quick connection then in Cologne, and you'll be in Berlin the very same day. Very, very quick and comfortable journey. And Berlin, if you've never been before, is just a fantastic city. It's so packed full of history. You know, there really is something on every corner. It's like walking through a history textbook, I always like to say. And we're going to include some great tours in this ultimate holiday for you guys as well. So we'll do a walking tour maybe on the first day to really help you get your bearings. You'll visit Checkpoint Charlie and fragments of the Berlin Wall, you know, stroll past the Holocaust Memorial. You're with a really expert guide who's going to tell you so many interesting facts, you know, that you might not have access to on your own. It really is the perfect introduction to the city. And what we're also doing for our Berlin Ultimate Holiday at the moment is including a visit to the Brandenburg Gate Museum, which is almost brand new. It opened just about a year ago, and it's become very, very highly recommended by our product manager, who is also from Germany. She said it was amazing when she went a couple of weeks ago. You get like a 180-degree experience. We'll show you hundreds of years of Berlin's history, really, really kind of technologically advanced. And it's right there next to the Brandenburg Gate, so the perfect thing to do for the start of your holiday, and you'll just get the best introduction to the city and to some of the incredible history that the German capital has to offer. From Berlin, it's on to Prague. Quick, direct train journey, very, very comfortable. And Prague, if you've never been, is such a wonderful city, really medieval, but loads of pretty cobbled streets. Of course, Prague Castle is a must-see. The whole of the old town in Prague is UNESCO listed. You're going to be able to cross, you know, some amazing bridges over the Vltava River. They call it the City of 100 Spires, and you can probably see just from that picture on the left there, you know, why that might be. The architecture is quite simply amazing, and it's just a lovely, lovely place to spend a couple of nights. From Prague, it's on to Vienna, another capital city, obviously the Austrian capital. Famous for its elegance and its opulence, and I was in Vienna in January and it really just took my breath away. We're going to include a walking tour, which was the perfect way to help you get your bearings in the city and see things that you might like to come back to later. And it's just a great way, I think, walking tours, to introduce yourself to kind of the history and the little you know, anecdotes and tidbits about the city that you might not be able to otherwise find out. You'll walk through sort of Hero Square, past the Hofburg Palace, St. Stephen's Cathedral. You can see the amazing view from the top of that in the picture on your screens there. And, you know, it's just a great tour that's going to give you the perfect introduction to the city. And then for your last capital, you'll head on by train to Budapest, which is just fantastic. You can see a picture of the baths there. The whole city is actually built on thermal hot springs, so don't get your swimming costume to go for a dip in those, you know, amazingly, you know, hot thermal waters. You can see the Parliament there on the picture on the right, and the amazing chain bridge. We're going to include a cruise down the Danube River, complete with drinks, and you'll pass the Fisherman's Bastion, the Parliament, as you see there, as you go, and just sit back, kick back, relax with a couple of drinks, and it's just a wonderful way to see the city from a different vantage point. After you've maybe been walking around all day, you sit back and see it from the river. You can see there the inclusions, everything that I've spoken about for this holiday, ultimate Berlin, Prague, Vienna and Budapest. As I said, you're going to take you out by train to Berlin. You don't have to fly back. You can certainly take the train back if you'd rather do that, or you can fly out both ways. You can fly into Berlin if you want to take that train journey out. It's completely up to you guys, whatever you want to do. Certainly doesn't have to be a flight back to London either. If you're, maybe coming from a different area of the country, no problem at all. We'll take the London flight out and make sure you're getting home to exactly where you need to go. The trains are really, really comfortable on this route between cities. Obviously, once you get to Berlin, you'll be travelling on Eurocity and Railjet trains. Really, really nice, comfortable journeys. You can upgrade anywhere that you'd like to if it's a special occasion, and you're just going to get the most amazing scenery along the way. So this is definitely one of our favourite holidays and one that's always, always popular. For the next trip, it is many of the same cities, but a different route: Munich, Vienna and Prague. So here you can see you'll be travelling out from London to Brussels, through Frankfurt down to Munich, the capital of Bavaria, and then visiting some other capital cities as well. Comfortable ICE trains, and you've got a flight back, as I said on the previous holiday. If you want to take the train, no problem at all. Completely, obviously, can understand that. You can see that a lovely, lovely picture of Munich, and we're going to include some great extras for you guys in Munich as well. We're going to give you a hop-on, hop-off bus tour. It's a big city, so that's a perfect way to get around, and we'll do a more concentrated walking tour for you guys as well, including a wander through the Englischer Garden, which is the perfect way to spend a sunny day in Munich if you're going in the summer, but it's just a wonderful experience anyway. And Munich is just beautiful. The hills around are kind of full of fairy tale castles and things like that. A really popular thing that a lot of people like to do is book a trip out to the Cinderella Castle, Neuschwanstein, which is not too far at all. So if that's something you're interested in or that you've seen, just ask and we'll be happy to look into that for one of the days that you're away. And a personal recommendation in Munich, definitely be sure to check out a beer hall, whether it's one of the more off the beaten track ones, or of course the Hofbrauhaus, which is the perfect introduction to the city. You get a nice big stein of beer and listen to some traditional German folk music. There's no better way to spend an evening in the Bavarian capital, that's for sure. So from Munich, it's on to Vienna. I've got that amazing picture of St. Stephen's Cathedral there again, because I just think that was one of the most amazing things that I certainly did when I was in Vienna. And there's that opera house there as well. Vienna has got one of the world's best operas, famous all over the world for it. So definitely, if you're a bit of a culture vulture, look into seeing a performance while you're there. And you can just see from just the difference in these pictures as well how amazing the architecture is. The city is kind of full of imperial palaces and really grand fountains, and the whole of the centre is UNESCO listed, which is really a testament to just how incredible and how precious some of these architectural gems are. From Vienna, you'll be on to Prague. We saw Prague on the last holiday as well, and it is just wonderful. It's really medieval in its feel. It's called the Paris of the East quite a lot, and it's definitely a very romantic city. There's a lot of kind of nice restaurants, riverside walks and things like that. So it's definitely one to look at if you're looking for maybe a romantic holiday. If you've never been to Prague, it's definitely worth a trip, and it's so easy and it's so comfortable to get there by train. There are the inclusions for our Munich, Vienna and Prague holiday. So you can see the city walk in Munich there, the hop-on, hop-off bus, Vienna walking tour. If there are things you'd like to do in Prague as well, just chat to us. We'll happily add anything like that on for you. Tickets to the castle or whatever you guys fancy. Definitely worth booking those things in advance, we always say, because you don't want to queue when you get there, and you certainly wouldn't want anything to be sold out. So this is a great holiday, and it's one that we've seen kind of soar in popularity. I think people kind of looking to go off the beaten track to some of these amazing cities in Poland. And you can see here, it's got a flight in and out of Warsaw. Certainly we could take you out by train. Much lament, the sleeper from Berlin to Warsaw isn't running anymore, which is really, really sad, but it's kind of the tragic fate of sleeper trains all over the continent. I'm sure many of you will be aware of that and will agree. But you can still do it, and you can maybe have a night over in Berlin, or a couple of nights if you'd like to break up the journey en route, travel into Warsaw, and then you've got rail journeys all direct between these amazing cities in Poland. And Poland have invested loads in their train fleet in recent years. So the journeys are really comfortable, trains very contemporary, very, very nice rides indeed. But if you do choose to go with how you've seen it on that map, you will fly into Warsaw. It's the capital city. It's got an amazing UNESCO-listed old town, and you can see from these pictures some example of kind of the pastel-hued buildings and the grand sort of buildings. They've got a great royal palace, and really, really interesting. It's had obviously quite a turbulent history, but it's fascinating to learn about, and there's loads of museums dotted everywhere, from very sort of large-scale galleries to really tiny independent kind of ones. There's a great museum dedicated to the Warsaw Uprising that if you're a history buff that you might like to go and visit. And really in the whole of Poland it might well have the best kind of restaurant and entertainment scene. So it's a very, very lively city, and certainly somewhere that's absolutely fascinating to visit for the first time or for the 100th time. From Warsaw, you can catch a direct train to Gdansk. History buffs might know that as Danzig, as it used to be known, and it's somewhere that maybe you've not thought of visiting before, but it's actually Poland's largest port city. It occupies a great place on the Baltic coast, and you can see the kind of architecture and things like that along the riverside there. It is beautiful in Gdansk, and it's really, really interesting place to visit. They've got a lot of Gothic-style architecture. You can visit the Golden and the Green Gates. And it's a great place to just kind of relax a bit, sit by the river, or, enjoy kind of a local meal. It's not overrun with tourists or anything like that, so you'll get a really, really personalized experience. Poznan is one of the oldest and one of the largest cities in Poland, but again, like I said with Gdansk, it doesn't just get the tourism really perhaps that it deserves, but it's got not one but two castles to explore, and a beautiful Renaissance-style town hall. And there's actually kind of a route, the Royal Imperial route, that you can head along. It's quite famous over there, and it will sort of treat you to the best sightseeing in the city, kind of like an introduction. So definitely somewhere to think about going. You can add nights in any of these cities, or you can take nights away, maybe just spend one night and add one somewhere else. We've kind of given the idea of what we think from what our customers love to do normally. But it's your trip, so if you want to spend longer, no problem at all. Just let us know. We can add on as long as you guys like. From there, you'll take the train first class to Wrocław, which is a thriving Bohemian city situated on the banks of the Oder River. It's got a load of great architectural styles. You'll see Gothic and Baroque and Renaissance gems kind of from throughout history, and just kind of casually embroidering the streets. It's a really, really lovely place to visit. And you can take a trip out to Cathedral Island, or they've got kind of flower kiosks along the main square. It's really, really great, and you're going to enjoy sort of a lot of local food and, lots of places to get a local beer or vodka or whatever you're interested in. It's definitely a very off the beaten track place to visit, but somewhere that we know people really, really enjoy. And from there, it's on to Krakow, which is the most visited city in all of Poland. It may not surprise you to hear, and that's just because there's so much to do, both in Krakow itself and in the area surrounding. And whatever it is that you fancy doing, just let us know, and we can certainly organise tickets and things like that for you beforehand. Maybe you want to take a trip out to Auschwitz, which I've done myself. It's a very, very sobering place to visit, but it's really important, and the history is just, it's really interesting, and definitely somewhere to think about if you're in the area. But there's also places like the Wieliczka salt mines. I've been told by a Polish member of staff that I'm saying that correctly, which is always great. Wieliczka salt mines. There's Wawel Castle, obviously, that's very, very famous. And Schindler's Factory. There's so many things to see and do, as well as, a lot of the best places in Poland to eat, drink, a lot of boutique shops. It's a very, very popular destination, and, as I have been, I can definitely see why. So here are the inclusions for the Polish Explorer. As I mentioned before, we do have flights in and out, but if you wanted to take the train, sadly the sleeper isn't running, but we can certainly take you out by train during the day with a nice en route. Normally we suggest Berlin, but we're open to suggestions. You tell us where you'd like to stay along the way. And all the rail travel in Poland, we're going to do first class for you guys. As I said before, some great investments. They're very, very contemporary trains, and you know, very, very interesting cities to visit. And you know, there's no need to hire a car, and you certainly couldn't see any of these places by kind of flying. The trains are definitely the gateway to Poland. We're going to have 9 nights for you guys, always with breakfast. But if you'd like to add nights on, take nights off, just let us know. Keeping a little bit with the Polish theme, our Berlin, Warsaw and Krakow holiday is very, very popular. Maybe if you've got a little bit less time than the Polish Explorer, or you wanted to you know, just limit it to more time in fewer cities, no problem at all. This holiday will make use of the Berlin-Warsaw Express, which is a very, very popular train, and it's a direct service. You can have a dining car en route, and it serves all kind of Polish delicacies and things like that. It is run by a Polish catering team, and very civilized, kind of the old style of train travel, really, where you can sit back and have a meal off some proper china. You know, very, very nice thing to do. Got a flight back there at the end, but if you wanted to travel back by train, you can see a theme emerging here, I'm sure. Of course, that's absolutely fine. And any of the tours that I spoke about for Berlin in the last holiday, we can certainly add those on if you wanted to go to that museum that we mentioned, or, you know, take a walking tour or anything like that. Berlin really is, for kind of fans of history, one of the most fascinating places. And if you've been before once, twice, 5 times, there's always something new to see and do, and it's always constantly evolving as well. I love that picture of the sort of fragments of the Berlin Wall. It's just, you know, so interesting. This modern history stuff that I'm sure we all remember seeing on the news, and it just feels like history comes to life in Berlin, which, you know, maybe not always a great thing, but it is certainly incredibly interesting to walk around and have a look. From there, you'll take the train to Warsaw. This train is now direct, obviously, but it's non-stop a lot of the time, so you won't stop anywhere en route. Really quick journey and incredibly comfortable as well. It's really the only way to make that journey, absolutely. And we've seen Warsaw in the last holiday. It's a really, really fun city with loads to do. Again, this certainly is a history fans holiday. It's just such a fantastically interesting place to visit, loads of museums and things that we've said before. And from then on to Krakow, which is such a easy place to reach, really, from there. And it's really near the Czech border as well, so if you wanted to add sort of a trip to Prague on the end of this or anything like that, that would certainly be something that we'd very easily be able to organise for you. And these are the inclusions for that holiday: Berlin, Warsaw and Krakow. Just 3, you know, incredibly interesting cities, and a great way to use the trains to kind of extend it, what might just be have been a 1-city break, into seeing 3 places on your next trip. It's so easy and so quick when you take the trains that there really is no other way to sort of think about organising a holiday like this. We're changing locations a little bit now into Zurich, Salzburg and Vienna, which is a great holiday with some fantastically scenic rail elements to it. You can see that we've got your journey begins in London with a flight to Zurich, but if you wanted to take the train out, that can be done very, very easily in a day. Take the train, the Eurostar out of St Pancras, travel to Paris, and it's the perfect boost that journey if you do it by train as well, to visit Le Train Bleu restaurant in Paris-Lyon station, which is just incredible gourmet food in these really opulent surroundings while you wait for your train to Zurich. Paris to Zurich would be direct. You'll get there in the evening, and you can have 1 night, or, you know, you can extend that as many, you know, by as many nights as you like, because there's loads to see and do in Zurich. Some pictures there. Obviously, it's a financial capital of perhaps Europe. I mean, definitely one of the financial capitals of the world, and that is what it's famous for. But actually, the whole of the old town is UNESCO listed. There's loads to do, really scenic sort of walks to be had along the River Limmat and Lake Zurich. Loads of great shopping as well. Obviously, it's a very wealthy city, so the shopping is going to be fantastic. You can have a stroll down Bahnhofstrasse if you're feeling pretty minted. It's kind of Switzerland's answer to the Champs-Élysées, and there is an amazing selection of shops and restaurants and things like that to do there. From Zurich to Salzburg, you will travel by train along the Arlberg Pass. one of the most scenic passes in the world. You're going to pass all the amazing kind of, snow-capped peaks and the little villages and, churches and things like that as you go kind of through the mountains. It is absolutely gorgeous scenery, and it's a really great way to make the train journey part of the holiday. So it's not, you're not just trying to get as quickly as possible from one place to the other. You're sitting back and relaxing the whole time. You can take, do it in the afternoon, take a bottle of wine with you, whatever you like. It's really, really beautiful journey. And Salzburg is definitely a really beautiful city. I was there at the beginning of the year, and it's just every ounce of fairy tale Austria that you would expect, definitely. Famously the home of Mozart, and my favourite, The Sound of Music. We can organise tours relating to either of these for you. You can do a Sound of Music tour. They'll take you all through all the locations of the film, and they let you sing on the coach. They encourage you to sing on the coach, but all my colleagues laughed at me for doing that quite loudly. But there's loads to do as well. We can organise Mozart dinners and shows and anything like that for you. The old town is, got this great Baroque architecture, and the skyline is kind of dominated by the amazing fortress, one of the largest medieval castles in all of Europe. Very interesting to discover. From there, you'll take a railjet train, one of the other best trains that are very, very comfortable, very modern, and obviously, lovely scenery along the way. It's not along the Arlberg Pass, but it's still just great scenery to look out the window. You definitely wouldn't want to fly. They miss all of the amazing scenery. And you can see there, how amazing Vienna is along the Danube. It's just a beautiful city with so much to see and do. If you're interested in architecture, art, anything like that, then it's definitely somewhere to add to your list. And don't miss, while you're there, a visit to Cafe Sacca for a slice of Sacca torta. The kind of chocolate cake with it's like an apricot jam on it. It's very, very delicious and very famous. You can have it in the cafe itself, which is a fantastic experience. So there are the inclusions for our Zurich, Salzburg and Vienna trip. As I said, we've got flights, but it's very easy to travel out to Zurich and back from Vienna by train. There's a sleeper train that is still running, and if you've never been on a sleeper train, or if you just want to catch one of the last ones in Europe, it's sad but true, the sleeper runs from Vienna back to Cologne, and you can get back very easily from Cologne to London, so definitely think about that. I'm going to have all the onward rail travel for you as well. It says they're standard class, but if you'd like to upgrade, no problem at all. And this is a 5-night holiday, but of course we can extend it. Definitely worth adding a couple more nights in Salzburg and Zurich as well, whatever you guys want to do. We're going back to Germany now. We've got a Cologne, Berlin and Munich holiday. This is the perfect rail itinerary if you want to stay quite close to home, or it's a perfect rail itinerary to, maybe do and sort of add some places on afterwards, maybe some of the destinations that we've seen earlier on in the presentation. Absolutely. You're going to travel by the high-speed ICE trains around Germany, run by Deutsche Bahn. They're very, very quick, obviously. They're comfortable. Standard class is absolutely fine. Very, very modern and comfortable. Loads of space, but we can upgrade you if you wish. And this would be a great holiday to do in the winter if you're thinking about maybe visiting the Christmas markets. Instead of a city break, you could do a holiday like this. All of these cities are going to have amazing Christmas market opportunities. So definitely holidays that you could do at any time of year quite happily. And you can see some great pictures of Cologne and a picture of one of the ICE trains there. You can see from that picture just how close the train station is to the cathedral, right in the centre of the city. That cathedral is definitely, you can climb up to, I think it's the South Spire, and just look over the whole of Cologne, over the Rhine, and it's just an amazing experience. If you can manage the steps, there are quite a lot of them, but it's definitely worth doing. And the Rhine River is just amazing. You can do sort of a KD Rhine pass. We'll certainly organise for you, which will take you, wherever you like. It's kind of a hop-on, hop-off tour that will really take you quite far down the river. You can see Lorelei Rock and things like that along there. And, in the evenings in Cologne, you can treat yourself to some traditional kind of Kolsch, I hope I've said that right, cuisine. And just, it's just a fantastic place to visit. They've got kind of a chocolate museum and all sorts to do. It's definitely a very, very thriving place to visit. From there, it feels like no time at all on the high-speed train down to Berlin. That's a direct journey. You can see there a picture of the Museum Island and the TV Tower in Berlin. There's so much, as I've said before, to kind of see and do. Museum Island is such a fascinating place to visit. It's kind of all manner of galleries and museums all through German history, and sort of they're some of the best in the world, really, for kind of art and things like that. So definitely worth visiting that. And from Berlin, you'll take the train down to the capital of Bavaria, to Munich, which you can see here. It's got such a great combination of kind of the really old architecture and old Bavarian kind of traditions and things like that, but it's also a very modern city. It really unites the two things beautifully, and the food and the cuisine and stuff like that is absolutely amazing in Munich. Completely different stuff to the sorts of food and drink that you'll find in Cologne and Berlin. It's in a completely different area of Germany. So definitely, seeing as the trains are so quick and so easy, it's a fascinating experience to see different parts of Germany in one trip. Absolutely. And you can see the inclusions there. We'll do the return Eurostar to Brussels. From then you'll change onto trains through to Munich, to Berlin, to Cologne obviously as well. 6 nights hotel stay with breakfast. If you wanted to add to that, do 3 or 4 nights in each city, no problem at all, as I said as well. It'd be a great one to do at the beginning of a trip, maybe traveling on to Prague or Vienna and the other Central European or Eastern European destinations that we've seen in this presentation so far. So that's the last of the kind of packages that we sell that I'd like to show you to today. Obviously, if you know where you'd like to go in Central and Eastern Europe and you've not seen it on this presentation, just have a look at our website, because we do pretty much go all over Europe, and we can certainly look at putting together a tailor-made itinerary if you know kind of, you want to add things on or go further east. Of course, that's very easy for us to do, and we're very happy to do it. We've got a really well-travelled team in our travel centre here in London who'll be happy to share their experiences and give you their recommendations. So definitely give us a call, because that is by no means the full range of stuff that we would do for Central and Eastern Europe. You've seen here the holiday types that we do. We've spoken a bit about some of our scenic rail journeys and city breaks. You can definitely do a multi-city break, or if you just wanted to go to Berlin, for a couple of days by train, that's really, really easy for us to do, of course. Definitely a nice idea to let the train take the strain, as they used to say, and do that by rail instead of by a flight. Luxury private train journeys, if you want to add a holiday on maybe before or after a cruise, absolutely, or we're finding that the Alaska cruise is really popular at the moment with things like the Rocky Mountaineers. We love a rail and sail holiday here. Lakes and mountains, we've seen some of those with Zurich to Salzburg and the Arlberg Pass, and coast-to-coast USA and Canada. These epic bucket list journeys that we just love organising for you guys. Wherever you want to go, across the top or the bottom, the middle of the USA or through the Canadian Rockies, just give us a call. Rail is definitely the best way to see those amazing parts of the world. We've seen a couple of our top destinations. We've spoken about some of these, but you know that there's really no limit to places you can go. These are just the ones that our customers keep on asking for, that we love arranging. And here you can see another example of some of the other kind of packages that we can offer, the other destinations. This is a really popular holiday at the moment. It's definitely a nice one for summer or the end of summer. Croatia is a beautiful, beautiful corner of sort of Europe, and it's very, very popular at the moment. You can take the sleeper train down from Munich to Zagreb, which is a great route to take, a great thing to do. Spend some time in the Croatian capital before travelling down along the coastal parts of it to Split, visit Diocletian's palace, or just lays by the sea. The coastline is absolutely amazing. Maybe ask us about taking a trip out to a couple of the islands, and Dubrovnik as well, very, very popular for sort of its city walls and things like that, and just a beautiful kind of place to spend some time by the ocean. Absolutely. The trains there, very, very easy to use, very comfortable, and just a great way to spend some time sort of traveling like a local and seeing the scenery along the way. This is our Barcelona and Madrid holiday. Spain and Portugal, well, obviously that's not Portugal, but Spain and Portugal are really, really popular at the moment, and some great train journeys along there. The trip from Paris down to Barcelona, it's a new direct TGV train that's been introduced in the last couple of years, and it's a beautiful journey. You'll see sort of flamingos and chateaux and vineyards and stuff like that all en route. It's amazingly scenic on these great double-decker trains as you go down to Barcelona. Spend a couple of nights there. You can get there in one day now by rail from London, which is just fantastic. And it's a direct journey on one of Spain's AVE trains from Barcelona to Madrid. Speak to us about first class on that route if you'd like to. From Madrid, there's a sleeper train you can get to Lisbon, or we've got you flying home here, but if you wanted to take the train back, of course, that's no problem at all. Crossing the pond to the USA. This is a great holiday at the moment that we just love chatting to you guys about. It's one I've done myself. Spend a couple of nights in Chicago, a couple in Memphis and New Orleans. If you're into your music, this is the holiday to do really through the US. You'll even pass it the Mississippi River down on that train from Memphis, the famous City of New Orleans train that Willie Nelson sings about. And then obviously, you've got the jazz, the blues, all the different kind of musical styles. We do some great inclusions, a jazz brunch and, a trip out to Graceland in Memphis, see the home of Elvis and things like that. So definitely a good holiday, and there's some fantastic, iconic train journeys there as well. And obviously I couldn't not talk to you guys about what is, perhaps our signature holiday, traveling out to Venice, the amazing canal-side city of Venice, via the Swiss Alps. You spend a night over in Zurich en route and then travel through the Alps to Milan. Absolutely stunning journey through the Gotthard Pass. Couple of nights in Venice. If you want to fly back from there, we can arrange that. Not necessarily to London, to wherever you would like, or travel back via Turin, spend a night there, and then take the direct train to Paris, travel home the next day. Whatever you'd like to do. This is definitely a great holiday for people who want to combine, a love of food with a love of scenery, some iconic rail journeys. It's an absolutely fantastic trip that everybody in our office will be very happy to recommend to you. Okay, so all that's left for me to do now is announce our winner who's going to get £50 off their next rail holiday. And the winner for this webinar is Lawrence Hannison. So very well done. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Lawrence will be in touch with you after the webinar is finished to explain how to use your prize. And absolutely everybody is going to be entitled to £25 per person off their next rail holiday. Lawrence, these are combinable, so you can use this as well. And all you've got to do is call us up on the number going across the bottom of the screen there by the 31st of May and quote that promo code to us. And how do you book? It's a great question. There's the number again, an even bigger font. Scribble that down. We are open Monday to Saturdays. In the week, we're open until 8 p.m, from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m, and until 5:30 on a Saturday evening. So give us a call between any of those hours. One of our consultants will be more than happy to talk all things train with you. So all that's left to say now is thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so many of you for asking questions. I'll try and answer as many as I can of these now, but we've got a question from Bill, who is saying that he doesn't fly, so can he add nights in places along the way and do the whole thing by rail? I think he's talking about the Polish Explorer holiday that we offer. Absolutely, that is something we can do. So we know that loads and loads of people don't fly. Either they hate fly, or they just want to take it easy by train. I can certainly empathise with that. So absolutely, for that holiday would normally stop you in Berlin, but there's loads and loads of options that we can do, and you can stop in a few places if you wanted to kind of make the most of all the amazing places that you're going to pass through en route. And we have got a question from Caroline, who is asking, when is the best time to book? So pretty much the answer is as far ahead as you can. You can see the number there. So as soon as you know your kind of dates or where you want to go, give us a ring, because it is very much a case of the early bird gets the worm with availability and things like that. We want to get the best prices and availability for you guys. We're booking all the way to the end of the year and all the way through next year as well. So whenever you know, just give us a call. Absolutely. We've got a question from Stuart who's asking about routes through Romania. Do we run any routes through Romania? Absolutely, we can organise a holiday there for you. That's really, really popular. Bratislava, Transylvania, those sorts of areas. Some great train journeys there, definitely. Give us a call, and I know a couple of people in our office have done a lot of those routes. They'll be happy to chat to you about their experiences and give you a insight to what they've done and chat through what you'd like to do. We've got a question, I think we've got time for one more, from Graham about first class travel and whether you can upgrade and what the perks and the benefits are. And really that will vary from train to train. So really if you're thinking of a holiday, speak to your travel consultant and ask about the individual routes. On some journeys you will get sort of a meal and drinks included, definitely on the Eurostar, you know, you'll get a light meal and some refreshments. On almost every journey you'll get more space, you know, more elbow room, more leg room, sometimes Wi-Fi, plug sockets and things like that. Often there'll be access to a first-class lounge if you're traveling through, you know, certainly any of the main cities, the bigger cities. So that's an absolutely fantastic perk, so you can wait for your train in peace and quiet. And it can come down to small things as well, like if you've got a lot of luggage, there's more room for you to store it in first class. We get some really great offers on a lot of our routes for very, very good value upgrades to first class. So our consultants will always tell you if there's anything like that available. And sometimes it can cost a lot less than you might think. So it's definitely worth looking into, especially maybe if you've got, you know, a scenic journey. It might be nice to just upgrade that one, or we can upgrade absolutely everything for you. Whatever you want to do, we can definitely look into it. But it does vary a lot through trains, kind of throughout the world. And obviously, if you're on a sleeper, then that will be different again. So just chat with our travel consultant because they know all the details for the specific trains that you're traveling on. They'll be happy to chat through the best ones at the best value and things like that. Make sure that you have got the perfect trip for you. Okay, guys, well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been really fun talking about one of my favourite areas of the world, Central and Eastern Europe. As I said, go on our website. We've got loads more to offer, and please do give us a call so that we can help you start booking your next rail journey. Thanks very much, and I will look forward to seeing you all next time. Thank you.